represent Eastern Southeast, Eastern Northeast, and I'm from Edo State. I rise to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Federal Capital Territory on the request for confirmation of Abdullahi Ote Atta as chairman of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT, IROS, and approve the recommendation therein. And that the House also do consider the report of the Committee on Federal Capital Territory on the petition against the removal of Mrs. Boma Avrete as Secretary/Board Member of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT, IROS, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
In order to consider the reports.
The next report to be considered is the report of the House Committee on Federal Service. I now invite the Deputy Chairman, who is acting, Honorable Sergius Ogun, to speak to this report.
Honorable Chairman, my respected colleagues, may I wish to use this opportunity to thank you for the support given to the committee to carry out its responsibility of oversight over Federal Capital Territory administration. On Thursday, 8 June 2017, the House deliberated on the request for the confirmation of Abdullahi Ote Atta as the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT, IROS, and referred it to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory, FCT, for further legislative action. The committee invited the nominee and held an interactive session with him on Wednesday, 14 June 2017. This report comprised the highlight of the activities of the committee, including its findings, resolutions, and recommendations laid before the House for its consideration and adoption. The committee found that the security checks conducted on the nominee by the security agencies, Nigerian Police, and the DSSS did not reveal anything adverse against him. Thus, there is no criminal record found against Mr. Atta. The committee scrutinized and confirmed educational credentials and other documents of the nominee and found that he possesses requisite qualification and experience to hold the position of the chairman, FCT, IROS. The committee hereby recommends that the House do confirm the nomination of Mr. Abdullahi Ote Atta for appointment as the chairman, Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, in accordance with Section 3, Sub 3, 2A of the FCT IRS Act 2015 for a term of 4 years, as stipulated in Section 4A of the FCT IRS Act 2015. Mr. Chairman.
The confirmation of Abdullahi Ote Atta in accordance with Section 32A of the FCT IRS Act 2015 that the House do consider and approve his appointment as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service for a term of 4 years as stipulated in Section 4A of the FCT IRS Act 2015. Carried.
On to the petition against the removal of Mrs. Boma Avrete as Secretary/Board Member of the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, FCT IRS, where it was alleged that her removal by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, violated Sections 3 Sub 2E, Section 3.3, Section 5 Sub 3, and Section 12 of FCT IRS Act 2015. Mr. Chairman, the committee had an interactive session with the petitioner and the officials of the FCTA, where it deliberated extensively on issues that made reasonable findings which informed its recommendations presented there. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I should save your time. I'll just give you a background knowledge of this. This secretary was appointed by the board, by the minister, and was seconded to the legal secretariat of FCT by Section 3, the Section 3 Sub 2 of FCT IRS Act. Her employment she can only be employed as the secretary of the board and not deployed. So they took up this matter, they came to us, and we asked the FCTA officials, who said we needed time to deliberate and then come back to us. Mr. Chairman, this happened in June. Till date, they have not come back with anything. So hence the recommendation by this committee. I will go straight to the recommendation, sir.
We have 4 items are listed under recommendation. So we go and consider those items. Recommendation 4.1, Roman figure 1, that FCT IRS, that's Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, being a statutory agency established by an act of National Assembly, shall henceforth be guided by the law establishing it and conduct all its operation and procedure in conformity with such law. Yes, if you consider that as a recommendation, it's a recommendation. Sergius, we want to discuss your recommendation. Now, I want honorable colleagues to look at that and see if it could be considered a recommendation, because I don't think we have to remind anybody to follow the law that has been properly enacted by the National Assembly. Sergius, read recommendation 4, Roman figure 1. If you want to stand by it. Read recommendation 4, Roman figure 1. As a law on an unwilling employer, that is the cross of his. So let us know what did you find out for this Boma to merit recommendation 3.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. She was appointed to the board as a secretary and ex-official. And in our laws passing this as sections 3 sub 3 of FCT IRS Act 2015 indicates that the chairman and other members of the board shall be appointed by the minister, thus signifying that the position of a secretary is by appointment and not redeployment. And then if we come to the recommendation 4 we have here, that the removal of any member of the board shall henceforth follow due process in line with section 5 sub 3 of FCT IRS Act 2015, which require that a member of the board may be removed by the minister if it is established that it is not in the interest of the board or the public that the member should continue in office, subject to a resolution of the National Assembly. The last time I checked, this is the National Assembly.
Okay. Who now removed her in the first instance?
It's the minister. They redeployed her. And we are saying section 3 sub 3.
If they redeploy her, then there's a problem.
That's what we are saying.
That's why,
She was appointed. She came from outside.
Make recommendation, and I know there are a lot of lawyers and the seasoned legislator on the floor. We will give you the opportunity. What he is saying, let's get it clear. First, he quoted copiously that the secretary to the board can only be appointed and that the woman was appointed. It was not a case of her growing through the ranks. She did not grow through the ranks. She was appointed. Then secondly, that she can only be removed by the minister subject to the approval of the National Assembly. Please, if you want to contribute, let's put those 2 areas in context.
Legislative hours are very expensive.
That's why I said, don't say she, quote the law. If you cannot quote the law correctly now, there is no harm in stepping this one down. It's a matter of law. And before we can impose our rule on any arm of government, we have to be sure that we are basing that judgment on the law itself. So this woman is not in context now. What does the law say about such appointment and the rest of them? So there is no harm. So what I will do now is, if you cannot quote it correctly, let's apply, you apply to step this report down. Then it can be released tomorrow. You liaise with the chairman rules and business, bring out the FCT law, then rewrite. But don't forget that we have already deleted recommendation 1 and 2. So we are only left with 3 and 4. So apply for stepping it down, liaise with the chairman rules and business, show him those sections of the FCT Act that you are quoting, If it's in order, release it tomorrow, then we go ahead. Specifically because of the fact that we have confirmed the appointment of the chairman so that he can start work very immediately. So that's your assignment. So apply for stepping down. Bring your information tomorrow. Bring your information tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will step you down and get the law to Chairman Rosa and Business, and then we'll list it tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you.